Hi. Did you miss me? I'm pretty sure you did. Well, I missed you too. Okay, so this is the third time I've tried recording this to no avail, so hopefully we're recording. And unfortunately, I still haven't figured out the YouTube way to do long form videos. So I know this is annoying. I cut my videos off at 15 minutes. So if this goes into 2 or 3 parts or whatever, I'm sorry. I still haven't figured that out. Every time I try to do long form videos, it cuts off and it won't let me post on YouTube still, even though I have the go ahead to do that. So I apologize if this goes over. But I'm back, and I'll tell you why I took the break. It wasn't because I was black bagged by special ops for threatening them in my last video. It was because I was doing home organization, among other things. But the purpose of this particular video is all about that. So I wanted to talk about the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo, which is sweeping many nations in popularity. I'm riding that wave of popular things this year. I don't know what that is. But I'll go along with it. I won't be the weird art school girl anymore. So my angle is not to go into the details of what the KonMari method is. It's very easy to go online and find out what that is. In a nutshell, just very briefly, she breaks it down into, rather than going from room to room and being covered in clutter and putting some of your stuff in storage, she advocates just a total scorch and burn policy where you dump things based on categories in the middle of a room, and you just sit there and you go through every single thing and you pick up the item and you look at it and you feel it intuitively. You feel the feeling of that object, and you say to yourself, I can't remember if it's out loud or silently, you say, does this spark joy? And if it doesn't spark joy, you discard it, recycle it, donate it, what have you. And that has actually changed my life, especially for highly sensitive people who take a much longer time than other people to make decisions. We need a lot of time and a lot of downtime. We get easily overwhelmed. Decision making is not the easiest thing for us. And we're overly sentimental sometimes. So it's also, if you're an empath or if you are codependent even, if you have issues with fear, obligation, and guilt, and I'll include a link to my fog video below, which talks more about what that is. It's really hard to let go of stuff you don't care about because you feel the obligation of the family heirloom or the family photo album that you really don't honestly care about necessarily, but it would be some kind of scandal if you got rid of it. And her way of thinking is that the joy that's been given to it either belonged to someone else and it was handed to you and it's not your joy, you aren't going to have that joy, or the purpose of the item is done. And in which case you're just hanging on to something that doesn't give you joy. So I found that this process of literally picking up every single item in your home and addressing it kind of reminded me of the way, I think it was, I don't know if it was Louise Hay, is that her name? Where she talks about talking to your body and the somatic response that you get, the feelings you get, the reaction that you feel when you talk to your body, when you address hurts and emotional stuff. And I find that works really well for me as well. So this is very similar in that regard. And I just find that it's the most effective form of decluttering and cleaning up your foundations for someone like myself. So that's what this video is for. This is for people who maybe are like me a little bit in that regard and have trouble making decisions, trouble letting go of things, that kind of thing. Doubt issues and the like. So I was just thinking if it appeals to me, it might appeal to you. Now, how does it help with intuitive development or psychic development? Again, 97% of the people that come to me as clients, they aren't listening to themselves or they don't trust themselves. And roughly the same amount of time is spent speaking to them about unique, tailor-made ways that they can trust themselves and get into trusting their gut intuition again. A lot of times people who have experienced trauma, for instance, will hoard. That most of my clients are in their 30s to their 50s, and hoarding actually begins around age 50. They've discovered that it's an anxiety disorder, but that it may be an offshoot of something else later on. They're still working on that with the DSM. But hoarding it stems from anxiety, and sometimes hoarding can stem from trauma. So the vast majority of my viewers are in their 30s to their 50s, and they're going through a lot. They've probably accumulated a few things here and there. They have families, they have their own lives. Maybe some of them are starting to have empty nest syndrome, and they're in transition, a lot of them. And so the KonMari method is also great for that when you're reevaluating and doing assessments, but also in reducing anxiety and depression. And definitely if you're a highly sensitive person or an empath, your surroundings count more than other people's probably, because we are even more acutely sensitive to our environments. So if you literally can't move because you have piles of stuff here and there, that's going to be depressing for anyone. But for a highly sensitive person, that's going to be 10 times worse. So it's all the more important to, as part of this year of restructuring, what I call 2017 is the year of restructuring, which breaks down to the number 1, which is the Magician card in the tarot deck. So I really believe that this is symbolically what 2017 has been all about. And the Magician card is all about what you can do to personally change your circumstances. What you personally, without any outside help, can do to manufacture your reality. And it has to start with the foundation. So I think this is the perfect way for highly sensitive people to get a command of themselves in a really immediate, direct, practical, instantaneous way that is very self-empowering. And it completely changes your view of how you view your stuff, your relation to stuff, to consumerism, to all of these things I'm interested in anyway. And, if you look at my Pinterest board, just Anya Briggs on Pinterest, you might think I really like materialist things. And actually what I really love is Pinterest, because if I actually had all that stuff on my Pinterest boards, I would probably scream in misery, because I probably wouldn't want to have all that stuff. But I am a visual hoarder in a sense, and I really love looking at things. And I went to art school, so I have an aesthetic appreciation for things. But this process has completely transformed my relationship to material goods. And not that I was a materialist to begin with, I really don't need that much. I can let go. The trouble with letting go comes from other stuff. But because of this process, I'm not afraid to let stuff go anymore. And one of the interesting things that happens when you do this process, when you start listening to yourself more and you go with your gut instinct more, you're building it like a muscle every day. And it doesn't happen overnight. It really takes about 6 months for each person, give or take. And I'm not finished yet. I'm still working on the paper portion of this process. So I'm a little over halfway done, almost. I'm almost at the end of that and about to begin the next process. But even only being about 60% of the way done, it has been a complete 180 in my life. I fully intend to keep doing this. I don't plan on stopping. I'm thoroughly enthusiastic about it. And it gets you enthusiastic for your creativity again. Things start happening when you let go of stuff. And oh my goodness, I let go of a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to leave links with some photos to some of the stuff, but I had like contractor bags of stuff. And I didn't even think I had that much to put away. And it was at least 8 contractor bags full of junk. And then the paper, like the recycling that I put in the shredder. My poor shredder, I don't even know how it's still alive at this point. But it has been a fantastic experience, I have to say. There have been some frustrating moments. It kind of feels like it's endless. But I promise you, if you follow this process, your life truly will change for the better in almost 100% ways. You build that muscle of, does this spark joy? Which is the primary question you're supposed to ask with each item. You hold the item in your hand and you say, does this spark joy? And you do that again and again and again, thousands of times. After a while, you go almost on autopilot and you don't have to think about it. That's what intuition is. And it's amazing to me how many people come to me who are highly sensitive people, who are empaths, who are sensitive, who don't have that ability to access that at all. It's been shut off. It might be by society. It might be because of their family of origin. I don't know. A lot of people who come to me are highly sensitive people and they don't even realize it. They don't know they are. So this method is absolutely something I'm going to incorporate into my business practice, and I'm going to recommend it to anyone that it's applicable for. But the upside to this, and I really am just doing this as a public service. This isn't for me. I don't have a sponsorship with Marie Kondo, although if she wanted to, hey, I'm totally down with that. But I'm just doing this as a public service because I'm just so happy with the results, and I'm not even finished yet. And it really has been life-changing magic. And that's what life should be about. It should be about magic. So my question for you, dear audience, is, have you heard of the life-changing magic of tidying up? Have you done the KonMari method? And what is your experience with that? And I would love to hear your comments and thoughts below, and feel free to subscribe for more updates. And I am going to be doing, just as an aside, I want to have like a live chat with people. I'd love to interface more with you and get a feel more for what you want to talk about and hear about. It doesn't have to be about HSPs or empaths or even psychic development. I mean, if you think it's like something related to that, but not directly, maybe we can cover that. But I just feel like anything that supports this community, because we're only 20% of the population, we can't be looking to normals to give us what we need, basically. We have to develop communities with ourselves, because there's few and far between for HSPs and empaths, in my opinion. And the more we can develop tips and communities to help one another, the better. Because I feel like this 2017 year of restructuring is leading to something really exciting, and I'll keep you posted. But let me know in your comments below what you think of the KonMari method and how it's helped you or not. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon.